call it the Lord's Supper or the Last Supper, because this is the last thing that he did with his disciples before he was crucified. And so after this, he was resurrected and given new life. And that's what we've done with this property, right?
The guy new life. And I think on one of the videos, like I said, if you all been following us a while, on one of the videos, I think Timothy was talking about, can these dry bones
live? That's right.
And from this picture, anything can live.
That's right.
Anything. And that's what we based this property on, because it was nothing. It was nothing but trees.
Yeah, and hills and valleys and trash.
Right, and trash.
Yeah.
So, but look what has happened.
That's right.
And even look at this old lady. You know, her soul has been reached so many times from the process down here. I get emotional when I start talking about it.
That's good. That made a good video.
But it's not a sad emotion. It's a lovely emotion. It's a lovely of grace. It's a lovely of transformation. It's just it's a wonderful feeling to be able to say, the Lord is mine, and the Lord has shown me so many things from this process. And like I say, I'm an old lady, but I have come so far with the salvation and the improvement in my life. So I'm speaking to all the older people out there. Don't give up.
That's right.
Because it's always hope. It's always hope as long as you keep the Lord on your side.
And so this is the family road that's on this property. And like I say, that the old family, they were the family that you know owned this land in the past, who started this farm and this homestead. They got this road put in. What's going on, Resurrection Ranch family? Today I want to kind of walk y'all around this property because I want to kind of show y'all what it looks like. What I want to show y'all what happens to things that don't have vision. The Bible says that without vision, things perish. And this property here, this property was actually like an old homestead, family land. It was like 200 acres. I think it was more than that because they broke it down in different sections. And I know they broke it down. They have a 40-acre section. They have a couple 10-acre sections. They had like some 5-acre sections. And we have this section here that we bought from a real estate company, because by the time we bought it, a real estate company owned this property, and we were able to buy it from the real estate company before they actually even posted it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk out here to the street, and I'm gonna just start y'all down here, and we're gonna walk around to some of the old buildings and old houses on this old homestead, this old family land, old family farm. And you can see like old barbed wire fences that are down, and you know, you can see all type of things. So I just want to kind of walk around and just show y'all this property and show y'all what happens to things that don't have vision, because this land was all family land. And there were, you know, the older people, once they started dying off, they ended up giving it to their kids and to the cousins, and it just kind of got passed down throughout the years. And it's like once the older generation went away, this property just, the kids or the children or the heirs didn't have vision for it, and so it just kind of went down slowly. And this went from being like a functioning family land, because we have some of the history that's on our deed about the family land, because they actually went to a lawyer and had everything divided up and all those type of things, and they kind of have different things written on there about the family and about who gets this and who gets that and all these type of things. But it's just a beautiful thing to like look around on these old properties and just see like the old vision that some of the pioneers of this land had. But I'm gonna just walk out to the road and turn y'all around and kind of, I'm gonna try to give y'all the best perspective that I can, and just help y'all, like, you know, see what I see when I look at this land, because I don't see like the dilapidated things, the things that are falling down. Like, I still see vision, I still see hope, you know, and our desire is to buy more of this land. Like, we would love to own the whole 200, 300 acres one day and just slowly buy the different parcels from the different people. But a lot of these properties, it's hard to find the people because they live out of town and they just don't care about the land. They pay the property taxes, but they're just out of town property owners. But let's turn around, take a walk around this property. We're not gonna be able to walk the whole 200 acres, but we can walk around and look at some of the structures that are around and kind of, you know, set the plot for what this place used to be like. All right, so y'all recognize this spot right here, and y'all know what this used to look like. This used to be just trees, just a cliff, and we came in with bulldozers, excavators, cleared out all the trees on this section. But this land actually starts way down here. It goes past, if you can see that little, like that old falling down house up there, the land goes all the way down past that way. And then it also goes all the way down to there, past where you can even see. Like I say, it's probably, you know, 10,000 feet of road frontage, and then it goes all the way back to the back. And so let's see if I can get up here to this first house up here. And we'll just start up here and just kind of walk our way around. And I'm hoping that y'all enjoy this type of thing, like I say, because that was one of the first things that I did when we first bought this property, was kind of walk around and get a feel for what was going on here. Let me get up this hill. It hadn't really been raining, but it's been real cold, and there was a lot of frost on the ground, and so all that frost kind of deep, unthawed, and now it's kind of mucky out here. But here we are to the first old building here. Let me give y'all a perspective of where we are. Right now we're uphill beside where we put my mom's house at. And you can see this was probably a nice little house back in the day. Had a nice little porch that's falling down. Let's see if I trust it enough to walk up under there. I want to kind of stick the camera in and let y'all see in the inside. I don't want it to fall down on my head. It's pretty solid. What y'all think? Should we go in? It's leaning pretty good. All right. So there y'all can see. Give y'all a look. I ain't gonna go too far in there. But all these old houses were pretty much built by hand by the people that lived here. And a lot of these houses, they use like old repurposed material, and they're just, you know, they were little homestead houses. Let me get from under here and close the door back. They were just little houses that people built for their families, and they were good, you know, while they were good. But over time, it just kind of fell down, trees fell on them. But this property here goes all the way that way. Like I say, I wouldn't even be able to get that far because it's too thick with the brush. But you can see this little house here. Like I say, just a little shotgun house. Like I say, something that they just built by hand. They didn't take out a mortgage. You know, they didn't take out any loans. They just built this stuff, like I say, with what they could find. And like I say, once I think this might be like a 2-acre parcel right here. But like I said, once it got passed down in the generations, it just went to nothing. And so from here, we could go back that way, but it's pretty much just woods back there. And so I'll walk y'all down this way. And like I say, this section is where the property that we bought. So the property that we bought from the real estate company, the property line comes straight down through here and goes straight down back that way. And then this property, this little 2-acre parcel right here, our property actually surrounds it. So our property goes down and then goes that way behind this 2-acre parcel right here. And so yeah, but now we're coming on to our property now. We put my mom's house at, and y'all have seen this a lot, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass on by it. But y'all remember how this was. Like I said, it didn't look anything like this when we first started. And that's the thing, because, you know, I've told y'all before, but when we bought this property, we actually didn't have vision either for it, because we just bought it because we were like, hey, we got some cash, there's some land, let's get it. You know, we're gonna use it for something, because we knew that the Lord wanted us to own more land. And we only had our 5 acres down the road that we bought in cash at the time. And we had a little bit of cash that we had saved up. And so this property became available, and it actually wasn't available because the real estate company, they hadn't even like posted it for sale yet. And the Lord just led us to it. And we did some research, and we had some relationships built with other realtors. And we called some of those realtors because we really couldn't figure out who owned this land. And so we had to research. And then we finally figured it out. And they told us what they wanted for it. And it was a little bit more than what we wanted to pay and what we had. But we went on ahead and made it happen. And we purchased it. And like I said, we didn't have vision for it. So this property sat here for probably 2-3 years after we purchased it. And we didn't do anything down here. And we finally, you know, my mom decided she wanted to move to the country. And we wanted to support her on that. You know, we wanted to give her a return on her investment. She had blessed us so much and invested into us so much, you know, during our time in the city. And she helped out wherever she could, that we wanted to, you know, return the favor, you know, and help out where we could. And so now we're coming up on another old structure that's falling down. Another just old house that they, you know, built themselves with their own hands. They didn't take out any mortgages or anything like that, get into any debt. And they just, you know, like, and we can tell that it's a little bit of repurposed material and this, that, and the other. And they weren't built the best, you know, because as you can see, these old houses are just falling down, but they were built good enough, like I said about the other one, for their family during that time. Because like I said, they used to have cows. You can see like the old cattle fencing. And we talked to actually one of the property owners that owns 40 acres behind here. He's like one of the grandsons or something like that. And he kind of told us about what this land used to be like, because there used to be pastures. There weren't any trees out here. And they had cattle out here, because when we first bought the property, we saw like the barbed wire fencing and things like that they had around. And it's still some of the barbed wire fencing out by the road. But this is the house that actually we named Resurrection Cabin. And we thought that this house was on our property, but we found out, or at least the surveying company said, that the property line comes straight through here. And so it stops right before this house. And yeah, so this house is actually not on our property. But like I say, on down the line, we plan on trying to buy more of this property. Like I say, because no one's really doing anything with it. The only thing they're doing with this land out here in these areas is just using it for hunting. And they're not doing anything with the properties up by the road. And you can kind of see, up there, way up there, the house, the first house we looked at, that old house at the top. And then you can see where my mom, where we put her mobile home at. And it was supposed to be a house on this property that we bought, but we hadn't found it yet. And so it ain't that much land. It's big, but it's not that much land. You would think if it's a house out there that we would find it. But I think what happened is that this house right here was supposed to be on the land. But what happened is that on the old deed, what happened, they had a lawyer to actually like draw up the deed and break the land down. And they said like, you know, this property is 150 feet that way, you know, 800 feet that way. You know, they gave the dimensions, but they never had the 200 acres surveyed. And so literally, out of all of the people that have owned land out here all these years, for 100, 200 years, because this is probably like a 100, 200-year-old homestead, old farm. And we're the first ones. Some newbies came in, and we're the first ones to get a survey done. And so when we got the survey done, the line was supposed to be down here, because the water meter for this house is right there, and the water lines go underground. And they didn't have any, like, I don't know what they were doing with their sewage, because we hadn't found the septic tank we were looking for. It might be out here somewhere, we just hadn't found it. But they did have water. They might have had an outhouse, but I would assume if they had water, that they would, you know, have had sewer, because where does the water go at? But I guess they were running their gray water, just on the ground, and they had an outhouse probably for their you know, sewage. But anyway, so we were the first ones to get a survey done and to actually like mark off lines. And this house was supposed to be on our property. Our property was supposed to come down here, but it ended up stopping like 10 feet before this house. And so this old house is actually on one of the family's property, but they're not, you know, interested in it. They ain't trying to do nothing with it. Like I said, we came in and cleaned up because you couldn't even see this old house. Like I said, I tried to find some pictures of what it looked like before we came in and started cleaning up, because we were gonna try to put my mom's house here, and before that we were actually gonna try to renovate and restore this old farmhouse. Let me show y'all another angle of it, because it might look bad, but there's like 1 or 2 rooms that are still solid and level. Yeah, because it might look bad, but there's still 1 or 2 rooms that are solid and level. And I haven't been back here in a while. Gotta watch out for the rattlesnakes, but it should be too cold for them to be out roaming around. But yeah, you can see this part of the house, because what we were gonna do was we were gonna just tear from there. We were gonna tear on back that way, and then just say, because this room right here, and we're calling that the resurrection room, and we put scriptures all on the walls and all type of things like that. And this room here is still pretty solid, and we were just gonna pretty much tear the house down around that room and then just rebuild, you know, reframe off of that right there, this room right here. But like I said, we got a survey done, and this house ended up not being on our property. And so yeah, but the property goes all the way back that way where you can't even see. And the next structure is down here, and there's actually a right of way that comes down through here and goes all the way to the back. I'll walk out back there as well. I won't go too far back there. But you can kind of see how they had the houses lined up. They had a house way up there, and I think it was supposed to be a house around my mom's house is it, but we didn't see it. Like I said, it might have fell down, but you would have thought we would have found some type of remnants of it. But I think what it is this the house. This is the house that because our deed says that there's a house on the property, and based off the dimensions of this house, I believe that it's this house, you know. But like I said, it just didn't have surveys done, and so then they had a house here, and then you can see on down here, there's a house here as well. And then this old family land, they actually have their own road, like their own county road. So it comes in down there and then loops around here and then goes up through there and then goes off the property. So, and this road actually has a name. Like I said, the family named this road, and this was their access, because the main county road is out there. And so they have a private county road here. And it was pretty much just family maintained. The county doesn't maintain it or anything like that. The family owned it, because the road is actually like on the parcels of land. The parcels of land go all the way out to the main county road out there. And so the property that we bought that my mom now lives at, like she owns that part of the road up there as well. And so you can see through here, this is like a easement here that shoots on back, because there's a property back here that is only like a little strip, and then it opens up wide when it gets back there. But here's another old house. See if I can get in here and show y'all a little bit of it. But this is another old one. Like I said, another just solid, you know, house back when they it was good while I was there. But you can see now that it's just falling down. Like I say, these are just the broken dreams. I'm listening because I feel like I heard something. But these are just the broken dreams of the pioneers of this property. And like I say, it worked while they were here. But over time, this stuff just fell down. And like I say, it's you know, without vision, this is what things look like. Like I say, the people that originally owned these structures and owned this land, like I say, they died. And as they handed it down to the heirs, it you know, they just didn't have any vision for it, and so things just began to just fall down and perish. But we can get another look at this house here from the side. Yeah, you really can't see these structures during the summertime because all this grass is growed up. But in the fall time, that's why I'm bringing y'all back here now. In the fall time, you can see a little bit better. I'm gonna walk back here a little bit, but y'all can see this is the road they use to come back and do all their hunting. And we've met all the property owners. Well, not all of them, but we've met a few of the property owners. And the guy that owns this property back here, where this road leads to, he's not interested in selling it because he doesn't live in the state either. Well, I think he lives in the state, but far away. But he just uses it for hunting. I want to show y'all this little, I don't know if this is a little outhouse or what. But I think they were actually keeping hay in here, because when we first bought the property, we came down and looked at it, and it was just a little bit of hay in there. Let's see if I can stick the camera in there without it falling down. Yeah, it looks like it might still be some hay in there. No raccoons bedding down. But yeah, you can see it's just a little, I don't know if this was an outhouse or what this was, but you can see somebody was keeping hay in here at some point. Because like I say, they had cows out here, and all of this back here was fenced off. And you can see that over the years, people have just came out and dumped stuff. I don't know if y'all can see in the distance, but people have just dumped stuff and used it for dumping and all that type of stuff. But if I come over here, you actually can see our property. So right through there is where our property line would be at. And so yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, I won't go too deep off into these woods because it still is hunting season and I don't have my orange on. So I'm just walking around looking at things. And like I say, just kind of showing y'all what it looks like, you know. Without vision, things perish. And my desire is for all, because I want to, within my lifetime, I want to obtain, you know, something similar to this, like as far as land. It's like, and maybe one day I'll buy some more of this land out here, but I want my kids to have vision. You know, I try to share those things with them now and help them like be visionaries. And so even in the things that we're doing now, we always ask our kids questions. We always tell them what's going on. So by the time, you know, by the time we pass on, like the vision will already be established and they'll kind of have a little bit of direction as to where they're going and what they're doing. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this land, about this property. Do you see, like, what do you see when you see these things? Because I know what I see. Like, I see hope. I see a future. I know that if the right hands get on this land, that it can come back and, like, be something again. Because just look at what we did with this small little piece that we have, like, in such a quick time. Like I said, I can see us coming in here with a dozer, getting Mr. Garrett to come back through. I think they charge, like, $3,000 a day. And we can get them to come in here and clear some of this stuff out. Like I said, we would just have to, you know, it's difficult to actually get in contact with the property owners, because I know this property right here, for instance, there are actually like 5 siblings that own this property where this last house that's falling down is at. And it's kind of similar to my mom's situation when she was down at her property that, you know, she moved from before she moved down here. And it's like that a lot of times. You know, you have multiple siblings. Like when the parents die, they leave the land to, like, you know, all their kids, and the kids, you know, can't do anything with it because it's just one house. It might be 5 acres, 10 acres, and it's like 10 people can't do anything with 10 acres, or 5 people can't do anything with 10 acres. And it's kind of like, at some point they have to decide, like, who owns it? Like, who would it benefit more to, like, own this land and be a steward over this land? But what happens a lot of times is that nobody, like, does anything to it. Nobody does anything to it because, you know, you end up, like, not wanting to fix the property up just for one of the other siblings to come in and say, oh yeah, that's a nice piece of property, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just walking down this road here. Let me turn y'all around. But yeah, I'm just walking down this road right here, just kind of giving y'all a perspective of where the property begins at. And so you can see the main road there. And this road comes in, the property goes all the way that way. It just doesn't end. Like I say, I hear a rabbit or something. It's either a rabbit or a big rat over there jumping around in the grass. But yeah, the property goes all the way that way, and then all the way this way. And so this is the family road that's on this property. And like I say, that the old family, they the family that you know, owned this land in the past, who started this farm and this homestead. They got this road put in. They got it named. And like I said, it was just a road that they maintained themselves. But it's you know, it's considered to be an old county road. And they got water brought in here and power brought in here, and they developed this piece of property. And it was nice, you know, it was nice. And we're trying to get it back to where it used to be, you know, return this place back to its glory days. And like I say, over the years, we want to buy more of this land. We would love to own all the way from that old house up there that I showed y'all first, all the way down to here, and then all the way back. Like I say, that would be hundreds and hundreds of acres. And like I say, this land is not the best land, like when it comes to the topography, because this land is actually like hills and valleys and creeks and watersheds. And so with that, it's not all usable. And I think that's one of the reasons that, the kids and the heirs didn't like take care of this land, is because, it's not like optimal. You have like, cause even where we put my mom's house at, like that went flat at first. Yeah, y'all remember how that was? Like it was a big old valley that just dropped off. Like we made that land flat. And so you have a little spot right here that's flat, but this is actually not like I said, this is an easement, you know what I'm saying? So the one flat area is like not actually somewhere where you can build a house at, because it's just an easement, it's just a skinny part. I think it's like 100 feet wide that goes all the way back. So this property here, which is was supposed to be on our land, but it stops, and then that property over there stops, and then you have a small little easement that goes right through this little flat spot. So the spot where where it would be desirable for somebody to build a house at, there's actually an easement, a right of way going right through the middle of it. So yeah, but like I say, it's beautiful to me. I see beauty, I see hope, I see a future. Like I see things that can be brought back to life. Like this is the Resurrection Ranch. Like it's our, like that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like we take those things that are dead and we resurrect them. We bring them back to life. Jesus, he called us to heal the sick, give sight to the blind, proclaim liberty to captives, to raise the dead, lay hands on the sick and they'll recover. So we have resurrecting power, but like I say, we just don't have access right now. And I would love, to own more of these properties. But if that happens, y'all will see it, y'all will stick around for it. But if it doesn't, we know that the Lord wants us to own more land. And so, at that point, when he reveals which land that is, because there's a lot of land in this area that's available. Like I say, we just believe in debt freedom. We move at the speed of cash. And so, when the funds become available and that right piece of property becomes available, we'll pull the trigger, you know what I'm saying, and expand the IEG Farm Resurrection Ranch, ranch's territory. All right, y'all, so I made it back up the hill, back up to the amazing Grace Lodge up here. And I'm gonna show y'all something my mom has, because y'all may be wondering why we call this place Resurrection Ranch, because I told y'all about that old house down there, how we thought that house was on the property. And we were like, that's what we were, focused on with, like for the first couple of years when we bought this property. And this, I'm gonna let my mom show y'all, but this was in that house, and this is where the name Resurrection came from. Right, so tell us what that is and give us the story behind it.
This is the Lord's Supper, as anybody should know. That's what that is. And it was hanging in the house, the old, I guess, I don't know what he was called.
Resurrection cabin.
Resurrection cabin.
Mm-hmm.
So since we decided that, or we hadn't quite figured out if that property belonged to this property or not, I decided to go down and take I guess like a memorial or
memory
of this.
Yeah, and, just in case the somebody decided to tear that down there.
No, you can't tear this down. This is sacred, and I'm gonna leave it. I might do a little, patching here or there, but it's pretty much gonna stay the way it is.
It looks good. It just looks like it's, like worn, like it's it looks just like it need to look.
Yeah.
And y'all don't pay too much attention to, like, because we don't focus as much on the like actual picture, but it's like this, this picture, this painting, like spoke to us so much when we first bought this property, because that's one of the first things that we saw. Like we walked in that old house down there, and it's like it was falling down, and there was actually a veil that was over the door leading into this room. And the Bible talks about the veil was torn, like after Jesus, died and rose for our sins and everything. And it's like this picture here of the Lord's Supper, it signifies his resurrection, because this is the last thing, like they call it the Lord's Supper or the Last Supper, because this is the last thing that he did with his disciples before he was crucified. And so after this, he was resurrected and given new life. And that's what we've done with this property, right?
The guy new life. I think on one of the videos, like I said, if you all been following us a while, on one of the videos, I think Timothy was talking about, can these dry bones
live?
live?
That's right.
And from this picture, anything can live.
That's right.
Anything. And that's what we based this property on, because it was nothing. It was nothing but trees.
Yeah,
and
hills and valleys and trash.
Right, and trash.
Yeah.
So, but look what has happened.
That's right.
And even look at this old lady. You know, her soul has been reached so many times from the process down here. I get emotional when I start talking about it.
That's good. That make a good video.
But it's not a sad emotion. It's a lovely emotion. It's a lovely of grace. It's a lovely of transformation. It's just it's a wonderful feeling to be able to say, the Lord is mine, and the Lord has shown me so many things from this process. And like I say, I'm an old lady, but I have come so far with the salvation and the improvement in my life. So I'm speaking to all the older people out there. Don't give up.
That's right.
Because it's always hope. It's always hope as long as you keep the Lord on your side.
Amen.
But I just wanted him to show you all this and just go from that. And like I said, it holds a sentimental value for the property itself.
Because I was talking about vision. Because as I walked around the property, I was actually talking about vision. And I was talking about how things perish without vision. And I was telling them that we didn't have vision for this property. Like, we owned it for 3 years, about 3 years before you came along and helped us have vision for this property. And it's like, we didn't have vision, but we did have a little bit of vision because we called it resurrection. Like, we knew that something with this property was going to be like signified or defined by resurrection, because this, like I say, this is the first thing that we saw. Because when we bought this property, the first thing we did was walk in that old house that was falling down, and it was like there was nothing on the walls anywhere. Everything was tore down, and that one room that I told y'all about that's still like solid and still standing, like that's the first thing that we saw on the wall when we walked in there. It's like the picture that signified resurrection. And that's what the Lord spoke to us, like my mom said. He said, can these dry bones live? And he wasn't just talking about that old house down there. He was talking about this property. He was talking about my mom. He was talking about me. He was talking about anything that was dead that needs life again. Anything that had life, lost life, and needs to be resurrected. Because you think about it, in order to say resurrection, it had to have had life before. Like, if it's just being born, like when my son was born, he wasn't like here before. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was born from my wife's womb. So we don't use the word resurrection when it comes to someone being born. It's like they're just born. They're not being resurrected. But in order to be resurrected, you had to have had life, lost that life, and then now you're getting it back again. And so that's what this picture here signifies, is the resurrection of life, the resurrection of my mom, the resurrection of myself, the resurrection of you all, the resurrection of this property. And the Lord is just speaking through those things. Yeah, I love it.
And another thought is, we're not perfect. We're striving for perfection. And it takes a lot of soul searching. It takes a lot of healing. It just takes a lot of everything coming together, and a lot of praying.
That's right.
It takes a whole lot of it. So don't look at us as we think we're the perfect family,
right?
Because we're not.
Exactly.
So, but we're striving to do better. So you all just remember that. Don't give up. Don't give up on your people. Don't give up just the world itself, because there's always a room for improvement.
Amen. I love it. Let me give y'all one more good look at this picture. Resurrection is still here. Jesus hadn't stopped. He gave us the example that all things can be made new. All things can be resurrected if we follow and trust him. But with that being said, hopefully y'all enjoyed this walk around of this old 100-year-old, 200-year-old homestead farm, seeing some of the things that were like broken and destroyed, and things that are desolate, that are laying, falling apart because there's no vision. But also like having just a picture, like a literal picture of like the people that were here. Like, clearly they had some type of relationship with the Lord, because they wouldn't have had this on their wall. And you know, we know all the old people like prayed and, you know, were serious about their faith. Like, because you think about what was going on during the times where the pioneers of this property were living. We're talking about civil rights movement. We're talking about racism, segregation. We're talking about like injustice. You know what I'm saying? And so they dealt with a lot, and we see what their foundation was. You know, that foundation was Jesus. But with that being said, we'll just see y'all on the next one. It's the Resurrection Ranch.
And it's still all about God.
All right, see y'all.